Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Leostream demonstration. My name is Sarah Wiles, and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Leostream. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Karen Gondoli, our CEO and VP of Product Management. Karen will be discussing the benefits of using Leostream to manage environments with Azure Virtual Desktops. She'll show you how Leostream provides the ability to manage hybrid environments from a single control pane, so IT teams can give end users access to Azure Virtual Desktops as well as on-prem machines and any other cloud. This really optimizes the end user experience by giving them access to all of these resources from one single portal, and it also simplifies IT by providing one central management layer to control all of these resources. So with that, Karen, I will hand it over to you to add a bit more context and dive into the demo.
All right, sounds good. So thanks for that introduction, Sarah. So what I want to talk about specifically here today is how to take AVD to the next level. Azure Virtual Desktops is a great solution, and it's definitely used by a lot of customers and clients out there, but there are some things that maybe it's just not working out for you. One of the key things about AVD is it gives you the multi-user Windows 10, but then obviously it's going to lock you into the rest of Azure, including their authentication and whatnot. So what if you want to move beyond that? Well, that's when you bring Leostream into the picture. And so what are the benefits that Leostream can bring to you when you work with it with AVD? Well, one, as Sarah mentioned, it's all about optimizing the end user experience. With Leostream, you have a single portal that your end users will go to, and they can get access to anything. AVD is great for certain things, but maybe you have applications that also need to run on Linux or on macOS. Maybe you have a suite of hosted Windows workstations in a lab that you want to make sure people have access to as well. When you have Leostream, the user will log in and they can get access to all of these different resources with the click of a link or a button. And so no matter where they go, they always have access to the resources that they need. And the nice thing is that those resources can be locked behind whatever your corporate identity provider has to be. And that's key for security. You want to be able to leverage the MFA providers or the different identity providers like Okta, Ping ID, whatever you happen to use for your organization. You want that to be a consistent end user experience too. So your users will use that same identity provider to log into Leostream, but it also is key for security because now you have the tracking and the audit level logs and the MFA that your identity provider gives you. So that's what you can do with Leostream. We support any identity provider that leverages the SAML protocol. We can log in using Active Directory. Obviously, you can use Azure AD if you want, but you don't have to. You can also use local users with Leostream, both into the connection broker and into the desktop itself. So if you have a local user account on the Azure machine, on the Azure Virtual Desktop, and you want to use that for logging in through Leostream, you can do that as well. And really all of this is about not just optimizing the end user experience, but maximizing the end user productivity. Obviously, for your end users and your employees, time is money. So you want to make sure that they're productive all the time. And you can do that not only by making sure they have access to the right resources, but also by ensuring that they get the right performance when they connect to that resource. And that performance, obviously, it's a little bit of a factor of their network, but then another thing that comes into play is the display protocol that you use to connect the user to the machine. And so with Leostream, we support a wide range of display protocols. So obviously you can use RDP and remote FX technologies if you want to use that, but you also have VNC for Linux, SSH for Linux, a variety of different high performance display protocols for Mac OS, like Skilled Cloud Workstation or PC over IP. So you can mix and match these different protocols using the right solution for the right user, connecting to the right resource at the right time from the right location. All this flexibility comes from the Leostream platform. But obviously, sometimes you hear the word flexible and you think, oh, that's probably going to make things complex. The thing about the flexibility that the Leostream connection broker provides, ultimately what it ends up doing is simplifying IT. And that is because now your IT department, they have a single control plane for defining access, for managing the machines, doing things like power control and whatnot. So it really makes it easier and faster for them to do some of these day-to-day tasks that they need to do to get their job done. Okay, so enough talking. Let's look at this all in action. To do that, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share screen 1. So obviously what you're looking at here is not Leostream, it's Azure, because what I built is a Leostream environment that manages Azure virtual desktops. So here, first, what I did is I created a CentOS instance that's running my connection broker, and then another CentOS instance that's running our Leostream gateway. So I built those two machines, installed our components, and then I created myself a host pool of Azure virtual desktops. So I just stepped through the AVD wizard that Azure provides. And in my case, I built a very simple pool. It just contains 2 Azure virtual desktops, and I think I allow 3 sessions on each particular machine. Now the key is to have Leostream manage sessions on an Azure virtual desktop. You have to install the Leostream agent on the machine. Well, thankfully, there are some tools that make this easy to do within Leostream itself. So with that little context in here, I'll just show you these are the 2 Azure virtual desktops that I spun up. So one of them's I didn't turn on today, but the other's running here. So with that kind of context, my 2 AVD machines and my broker and my gateway, let's actually look at the Leostream setup here. So this is the Leostream connection broker web interface. I'm going to log in as the main administrator. Oh, a session time, if I remember my password. There we go. So to start, remember, if I'm thinking about this as a greenfield, I just installed the broker and the gateway and created the AVD pools. As I mentioned, the first thing you need to do is install the Leostream agent. Well, there's a handy way to do that within Leostream. First of all, here, since I'm working in Azure, I wanted to import those AVD instances. So the first thing I did was come to Setup Centers and create my Azure Center here. So this very simply hooks me up to the subscription that contains that host pool. And so that way the desktops, the actual instances themselves, get inventoried here on the resources desktops page. So initially what I had, let me actually just look at my Azure pool. So initially I inventoried everything out of that particular Azure subscription. And what you see is you can see those 2 AVD instances here. So once I had those, essentially what you can do here, and this is great for installing Leostream agents. It's great if you need to just debug some aspects of the desktop itself. But as the administrator here, I can actually come in here and click this view link. And if I click view, what it's going to give me is an actual RDP connection to that machine based on how my default protocol plan is set up here in the connection broker. So now without having to actually launch the client, figure out the IP address, anything like that, I can just come in here and connect to that machine very simply. So that's what I did to install the agent. I came in, I connected the machine, I ran the agent installer, and then I was up and running. Once I had the Leostream agent installed on this Azure Virtual Desktop, now what I need to do is actually define the sessions that I want to run on that instance. So to do that, we come back into centers. So what I did was I created this AVD center, which essentially is a center type, what we call remote desktop services, the old RDS, or multi-user, because this is essentially any server or Windows 10 multi-user machine that supports multiple sessions, multiple simultaneous but unique sessions. This isn't about session shadowing or collaboration. These are unique sessions. So when I created this center, I selected that particular AVD instance, indicated how many maximum number of concurrent sessions I wanted, and then just clicked save. And when I did that, the connection broker essentially created all of these placeholder sessions that you see here. So you see these are all the same machine, just waiting for an assigned user. And I can see the agent running somewhere. There it is. So my agent's running. I can click status and notice that there's nobody logged in here at this time. So there we go. So once you have that set up, then you're pretty much, the rest of it's just kind of standard Leostream setup. We manage these sessions the same as we would any other virtual machine, whether that be on-prem, hardware, virtual, whatever you happen to have. So in my case, what I did is I created a pool of my sessions. So here I have a pool, which is everything in that AVD center. So it's my 3 sessions, so I can hand those out to users. I created a protocol plan, which very simply connects to the desktop using RDP through the gateway that's up in Azure there. And then I have a policy here that assigns out those sessions. So on the pool assignments, you'll see that I'm offering 1 machine from that AVD sessions pool and just assigning the default protocol plan, because in this case, I just updated the default instead of creating a new one. Now, what you'll notice here, in my case, I'm going to log in as a local user. So I don't have any authentication servers defined, but I can come in here and hook up to Active Directory, anything based on Open LDAP. And as I mentioned, if you have any SAML-based identity provider, including using Azure AD, you can use that as well here. But something we don't talk about a lot, and I just wanted to point out, is this ability to have local users. So you see here, I have created a user here, and I'm having the connection broker essentially act as an authentication server. So this is great if you just want to run a POC, or in cases where you really do just have local users on the machine. Perhaps that's because your Linux works just fine with AVD with Leostream as well. So I created a username and password, and then assigned them out the policy and a role. Now the role can be interesting here as well. The role in this case, what I'm doing here, you'll notice, is actually going to log the user in as a local user, and I'm going to automatically add them to the remote users group on that machine. So this way, it kind of simplifies the setup of your environment in the first place. I didn't need to go in and create the user on the machine in the case of local users. I can also log the user in as a domain user, obviously, if you're hooked up to Active Directory. But even if it's domain or local users, by checking this box, you don't have to go in and set up the remote desktops users group on the AVD machines to allow those users to RDP in. So with this box checked, the connection broker will tell the Leostream agent on the AVD host to add the user when they request the connection. And then when the user logs out, the Leostream agent will remove them from the remote desktops users groups. And so this is almost kind of extra security, because now that user can't RDP into the machine directly unless they go through the Leostream login. So to show this in action, I'm going to actually show you Leostream working with and computing the LeafOS. So what I have here, actually, if you look underneath the hoods here, this is just a web browser, Chromium web browser, but it's running on and computing LeafOS. So I have this web browser, and it's pointing towards the Leostream gateway, which is running in Azure, and then the Leostream gateway is going to tunnel the login traffic over to the connection broker so the user can log in. We're going to see if I did remember that user's password. So the user logs in, and they are in fact offered one of the AVD sessions that you see running here. So I'm going to go ahead and connect, and that is going to then launch the RDP client, and then it's going to connect me into the machine. So while that's all happening there, here in the connection broker web interface, we can actually see it all in action over here. So you can see the user logging in, what machine they were offered, they requested the connection. Notice that a forwarding rule was added to the Leostream gateway so that the connection could tunnel in, because those Azure virtual machines, those only have a private IP address. And you see the Leostream agent sending the notifications. So if I look on the desktops page now, I'll see Mabel now assigned there. I can click status and say, yep, in fact, she is logged in. And if you have users who tend to log in and then go away for the day and forget to release the machines themselves, you can actually come in here and manually log them out, as well as schedule those logouts via the release plans that we have in Leostream. And the whole key there being to make sure that you're optimizing the usage of these sessions so that people aren't retaining them when they no longer need them. So I think I will stop there. There's obviously so much more that you can do in Leostream, but I will just hand you back to Sarah to kind of wrap things up for this particular demo.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. Well, if you would like to learn more about the Leostream platform, you can visit our website at leostream.com. I always like to mention that we have a lot of case studies and demos highlighting different use cases with Leostream, so feel free to check those out on our resources page. You can also request a fully supported free trial of Leostream on our homepage. If you would like to connect with a team member directly, feel free to reach out to us at sales@leostream.com. We're always here to assist you with a proof of concept or answer any questions you may have. We'll be happy to hear from you.